All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our 2020 virtual Shark Tank. My name is Tamer Memkij, and I'm the Network Administrator for the Hawthorne Public Schools, and I want to thank everyone for joining us. Before we get started with our event, I just wanted to go over some of the features of Zoom webinars that are available to our Sharks. After each of our student presenters finish their presentation, our Sharks are welcome to ask any questions they may have. To do this, simply click the raise hand button located on the bottom of your screen, and I will enable you to speak to our presenters. I also want to remind our student presenters to make sure that they mute and disable their cameras after their respective presentations to allow for the best quality audio throughout the event. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who has joined us on our YouTube live stream for supporting our students in this event. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Lonardo to start us off.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get started talking a little bit about something new this year. We're presenting a Shark Tank program, not really like this TV program where the panelists are asking for money. This is really about creative. It's about inventiveness. It's about design. So we're going to go through a few slides just to kind of let you know before we have the presenters actually share their creative with you. Oops, how did I get there? I think I'm at the end. Sorry, guys, a little mix up. Okay, Advanced MIDI Arts, great program. We have a small class. We have some really involved students that have taken this project and really have challenged themselves to develop a branded strategy. We did a focus group at Jefferson School, and we talked to fifth graders because that is their target customer. And that is their future kind of experience that they wanted to present. Each designer is going to share with you the actual creative aspects of their program. They came up with the name, they came up with the brand, they came up with the ideas. They've done research, they looked at NASA's various websites and kind of really made it their own. They're going to present and they're not looking for money like the TV show. They want to convey the message and the uniqueness for the 10-year-olds that they really are targeting. Panelists will present. Once they've completed, it will allow the Sharks to kind of ask some questions about their creative, to get a little more insight as to what they were actually putting together. Remember, they're going to be actually judged and evaluated on research, how they really kind of explored and found the ideas out. Creativity. Why did they use those colors? Why did they use that logo? Why did they develop that mascot, if they did, for that experience? And their presentation, how they delivered the message to you. These are our panelists. Michael Brown will be going first with Saline Safari, followed by Aaron Fletcher for Lift, L-I-F-T, Jacob Rios for Meteor Miners, and Dylan Scully for ETI. We had a little technical thing with Dylan, so we're hoping he could join us before we get to him. Our Sharks today, we thank you again for joining us. Our Sharks, Mr. Cunningham, Ms. Denise, Mr. Spirito, Dr. Trabana, and Ms. Wagner. Thank you very much for coming and joining us once again. We hope you enjoy the presentation. Okay, for our first presentation, it's going to be Michael Brown with Saline Safari.
Okay, are we good? Okay, Good afternoon, Sharks. I am Michael Brown. I am the founder of the Saline Safari. The Saline Safari is an all-inclusive solar moon safari experience. We provide the once-in-a-lifetime experience for students to travel through outer space, spend time on the moon, and then finish the journey back on Earth safe in the classroom. Here's our logo, the Saline Safari. Basically demonstrates the goal of this. Step one, our students, aka Space Rangers, they're going to attend a 3-week training course explaining how to prepare for their trip and what to expect from being in space. This training course will take place over summer break and will be for 3 hours every day for 3 weeks. This might sound horrible and boring, but space can be a real dangerous place, so all these precautions are very necessary. During the training program, Space Rangers will learn how to do everyday tasks in zero gravity and learn how to stay safe in outer space, so they don't end up like that. All right, step number 2. They're going to be flown to Cape Canaveral, Florida, where they're going to spend 1 more week preparing, and then they're going to, go to space. That's where they're going to be staying. Next, they're going to be boarded onto a large rocket ship that can hold up to 200 Rangers and staff. They will spend a little longer than 3 days on board the spacecraft that will take them through outer space and to the moon. On this journey, there are many things on board to keep the Rangers entertained, such as video games and an endless supply of food. Okay, step number 4. Our Saline spacecraft will arrive at the moon after traveling over 338,000 miles from our Rangers classrooms. On the moon, these Rangers will spend 2 more weeks at one of our 4 resorts that are stationed on the surface. These resorts have everything from zero-gravity basketball to huge zero-gravity trampolines. It will also have activities such as space laser tag. And then once our Rangers have gotten used to life on the moon, we will send them on guided expeditions when they're in our Saline suits to keep them safe. On these trips, Rangers will be able to take chunks of moon rocks as souvenirs, snap some pictures, and ride on the moon go-karts. These are the moon go-karts. All the 5th graders, this was their favorite part. Finally, the Space Rangers will be sent home after another 3-day-long trip on the Saline spacecraft back home. They will be required to write a few paragraphs about their Saline Safari experience and will be interviewed so we can keep improving our company. Okay, the cost. For your child to be a certified Space Ranger, a down payment of 10% of the total tuition is required upon application acceptance. The cost depends on what kind of experience you would like your child to have. The base price that includes every basic activity is $10,000. The next tier up is a premium package, which includes every activity, such as go-karts and other exclusive privileges on the moon. This package will cost $12,500. Then the top tier choice is the VIP package, which includes everything possible. Give your kid the experience of a lifetime. They will get special one-on-one missions to complete on the moon surface and will serve a key role in making decisions and come up with activities. This package is $25,000. We also offer group discounts for over 2 children, and we offer military and need-based financial aid. Marketing. The marketing aspects of Saline Safari will not be an issue. We will have advertisements and profiles advertising our company on every platform, such as TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter. On these platforms, we will also sponsor creators to create their own advertisement so it appeals to their audience and helps spread the word of our program. Also, we will have commercials on children's television shows and billboard ads once we get enough capital. Okay, and if we were in person, I could have handed out pamphlets that really demonstrated the whole experience, but thank you, Sharks.
Okay, so I believe at this time we are opening it up to our Sharks for any questions that they may have for Michael. Oh, we have Mr. Spirito here coming in.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I thought you did a nice job with your presentation. It sounds very interesting. I have two questions, two quick questions for you. I wanted you to talk a little bit more about the logo. I'm interested kind of how you came up with the logo and what are the icons or the things that were on that logo, kind of what did they signify? And then my other question was, I know you met with some fifth grade students in regard to the training course. I'm interested in what their feedback was in terms of what you talked about with the 3-week, 3-hour, 3-week training program.
Okay, I'll share my screen again.
Okay.
Okay, so first with the logo, the children actually picked a different logo, but I thought this one was much more easy to look at.
Okay.
But yeah, basically just there's a little earth, little moon, made it very easy to look at. Kind of, you get the whole point of the thing just by looking at it pretty simply.
The training was the other question that I had. Like, what was
Yeah,
their feedback in regard to the training aspect of it?
they thought I took a poll and some kids thought they only needed like 2 weeks, but it seemed like everyone was kind of on board for that long of like preparations and everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Just bear with us. I think we have a couple more here. Next, we have Ms. Wagner.
Sorry there, I have my camera off. Hi, Michael, how are you? Nice job.
Thanks.
Sounds really interesting. And you know, what's crazy is one day this might actually be something that's possible. You never know. Question for you. So as you're going through your program, I actually Googled the name Saline to see what that meaning was. Can you just, you know, go over why you chose that as a name, the meaning of the name, and why you thought that was good for the title of this program in your experience?
Well, I wanted to be a kind of creative, but I didn't want it to be too straightforward. Kind of add a little bit more interestingness to it. It's Saline is the Greek goddess of the moon, so that's why I picked that. So Saline is also like, I guess, another name for the moon. So Moon Safari.
Great. I do have one more question for you, and it's just regarding the pricing. You know, how do we put a price on going to the moon and an experience on the moon? So how did you decide, you know, where your baseline pricing was going to be and maybe your rationale behind that?
Okay, well, the cost, I added that after we spoke to the kids, and the kids mostly said a range of somewhere from like 10 to 20,000. No, one kid said like 70,000, one kid said $100, but seemed like the average was around 10,000, which seems kind of realistic.
All right, great. Thank you.
So
Nice
that's kind
job.
of a guess.
All righty. So next up, we have Dr. Trebona.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm good.
As a parent of fifth graders, I know my kids would totally be knocking on my door to do something like this. So you talked about advertising it on TikTok and Instagram and all those great things that they're on 24 hours a day. How are you going to attract and sell it to the parents now when they come show the TikTok video about this? Have you thought about like getting the parents on board?
Yes. I'll show them the presentation. I can give them the pamphlets. We do have need-based financial help, so if they really want to do it and you really can't afford it, but I think once everyone starts getting in on my safari, everyone else will join. Maybe we can go for an adult safari.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, let the parents go with them.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Awesome. And I think we have Mr. Cunningham. Yes, we have Mr. Cunningham also with a question.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hi.
All right, so my question is centered on, do you have an interest yourself in space travel? And do you plan on pursuing anything, in the science field or advertising when you move on into college?
I wouldn't say space necessarily. Maybe I'm planning on engineering. So
Okay.
maybe if something space sort of comes in my way, I'll take it. I think space is pretty cool. But more learning from this, I would say I'd rather be an entrepreneur than go to space. So I think, I don't know, that's what I got out of Shark Tank.
Okay, very cool. Love the idea. I think it's so creative. Nice job.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. So I think that is all the questions I saw from our sharks. Just a reminder to our sharks, a couple of questions that came in. If you would like to ask a question, you would just click the raise hand button that's on the bottom. And Mr. Lonardo, there is a question in regards to what is the max points that the sharks can give for each category. I don't know if you have any insight into that.
It's 10. Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, 10. 1 through 10. So 10 being the highest. And I do see the points coming in. So the tabulations are happening live as we speak.
Awesome. All right, Michael, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention is that we had a smaller class this year than in years previous. And I believe this is our 5th year doing Shark Tank. So we decided to make it an individual project rather than group because with a small class, individual seemed to be a little more of a better direction to go. And instead of a product or a service, we decided to make it an experience. So the branding and the kind of the research was based on this experience. And, space travel seemed to be something that really geared itself towards that age group. And they were very receptive in the focus group. So we're gonna kind of move on, talk a little bit to Aaron in a minute while he gets himself set up.
Alrighty. My name is Aaron Fletcher, and I just want to thank you all for attending. We all worked very hard all year long working on these projects and focus group testing them. So I really appreciate you all being able to come out and, in these trying times, but still able to, provide a good learning environment for us. So my project was LIFT, and it was kind of designed as an intermediary sort of expedition but in between now and similar to what Michael just did, where you're sending kids to space. That's more in the future, where I tried to focus on bringing the excitement back into space travel and inspiring those younger generations. And I think that even with the NASA SpaceX launch just yesterday, that was supposed to happen. I think it's supposed to happen on Saturday now, but kind of bringing it back to US soil and inspiring the younger generations to want to travel. So if it wants to change. Okay, LIFT stands for Limitless Imagination Fueling Tomorrow. And it really tries to hone in on the just drive and imagination that these 5th graders do have. At LIFT, we aim to foster a culture which prides itself on community and the advancement of humanity through space exploration. LIFT is where the future generations can go to learn the life skills to lay down the foundation for a better tomorrow, to learn the kind of drive and learn the motivations and tactics to be able to lead and be able to become the leaders of tomorrow, whether that's in space exploration or whether that's just through the advancement of humanity. the logo while interviewing the potential LIFT students at Jefferson Elementary School. The students voted on 2 logos. I had 2 logos, and this one got an overwhelming majority of the votes, but I had split them up based on which logo they had chosen, and I gave them a variety of different trivia-based questions, and I tallied up their responses. But the questions were very simple space questions. Oh, who was the first astronaut? What was the first? Who was the first man in space? What was the first satellite? And they all seemed really engaged, and they really just wanted to learn more and and they were just so excited to do that. So they ended up choosing this logo, which I really like, and it really focuses on the lift aspect of the lift propelling you upward and pushing you out into the stars beyond. What inspired me most about speaking to the students was their curiosity in these new adventures and their creative approaches to these new problems. That sense of wonder and determination that they displayed to explore what is beyond our Earth and out into the cosmos. It was just amazing to see the new and brilliant solutions that they aren't being heard because they are so young. But if we can foster a kind of a culture that hones in on those innate abilities of wonder, they can definitely use that those motivations and those abilities to enrich the future for us. What exactly is LIFT? LIFT is a 2-week summer camp for middle school age children, age 10 to 15, where they will learn these valuable life lessons on integrity, independent reasoning, and cooperative learning. These students will be learning the tactics and strategies in order to work effectively in a team setting, but also learn how to lead said team in the most productive and efficient ways possible. They're going to learn these tactics through our 3 main pillars of inspiration, challenge, and adaptation, because we really want to focus on crafting them not only to be really interested in space travel, but craft them into be leaders, because just the nature of it, not everybody's going to end up going to space immediately. You're going to end up branching out, but these kids need to learn how to be leaders, because we're in a time right now in our society where we feel a little bit lost and we're looking for leaders and there's nobody there. And these children, with their ideas and their motivations, and they're just a innate knack for communication, they are the leaders of tomorrow, and we really need to be able to motivate them to be those leaders that they really want to be. Our first pillar of inspiration. One thing that these young students are always told over and over is, no, don't do this, don't do that. At LIFT, we want to kind of change that by fostering a culture of success through showing what these young minds can truly achieve, whatever they set their minds to. They'll learn these lessons through a lot of talks from successful astronauts and athletes and business leaders. I went to a OAR summit. It was a leadership summit that my lacrosse coach had recommended me for, and a bunch of other kids from Hawthorne High School went. And it really kind of changed my outlook on a lot of things, hearing the success stories of these people. And it wasn't like they were just born into it. They really had to fight through it. And, when they were told no, they always fought through and, changed that to yes, and I'm going to do this. Yes, and I'm going to accomplish whatever I want. So we need to stop telling these children, no, you can't do that. You only can be these career professions. We need to change that to allow them to, really let their own ambitions speak. Our second pillar is challenge. These young minds need to be challenged in order for them to develop. New environments and situations are a prime way to push these students to think outside the box in order to think more efficiently and abstract. At LIFT, we plan to use the same training techniques as NASA with their underwater training tanks to foster creativity in new environments. In these new environments, that adaptation is really going to be necessary. And that's where we go into our third pillar of adaptation. It's the single most important tool in an individual's life. The ability to adapt to a new and trying circumstances are what's most needed, and what's going to be really the pillar of what is going to advance the scope of mankind, because we don't really know what lies out there. We're going to need to really have well-rounded individuals to allow for them to adapt to these new and trying environments and atmospheres on different planets and throughout the cosmos. To give these students the ability to adapt to new circumstances, we at LIFT developed cooperative virtual reality space missions. The students in Jefferson really most of them had at least tried virtual reality at some point. Many of them owned virtual reality headsets, and it really puts you into a new environment and allows you to work cooperatively with other people. And in that new environment, you really can form new bonds with people as you guys are both pushing through very challenging things. And that new environment through the virtual reality space missions will allow them to work together and form those tight bonds that you need in a close-knit team. All these tests and training that these students have done in preparation is for their final mission of a full simulated launch, where as a team, they must fully complete a launch unassisted by any adults or training assistants. The students had initially
Mr. Lonardo, can you hear me?
I can.
I think, I don't know, Aaron, if you can hear us, but your mic cut out there.
All right, we'll give him a couple minutes to see if he could get back in there.
Yeah, oh, he completely fell out of the meeting there.
Okay,
So we'll just,
we'll get him back in.
yeah, let's see if we can get him back in here. 1 second.
All right, well, he was at his finale, so we can move on and then get, well, let's just say, there he is.
All right. I guess my internet decided to cut out in the middle of that. I apologize.
No problem at
All right.
all. You're back in and we can hear you now. So if you want to just continue where
Okay.
you were.
I don't know exactly where I was, to be completely honest with you, when it cut
You're
out.
right there at the finale screen.
Yeah, we were
At the finale. Okay, so just to reiterate, these students really they drove home this idea of wanting to fully launch together as a team and as a grade. So I thought that would be a perfect finale to their time spent at Lyft through these tests and training. So I put that as the finale. They're going to complete the launch fully unassisted, and they're going to be able to have a democratic vote of leadership and allow for them to work really as a close-knit group. This 2-week training camp is full of fun and challenging experience for these driven students. This opportunity of a lifetime will run a participant about $1,750 to cover the cost of food, boarding, and all the activities that students will enjoy during their time at Lyft. And just one last question. Are you guys ready to lift off? Thank you.
All righty, perfect. Thanks so much, Aaron. We are now going to open it up to our sharks, and Mr. Spirito always beating everyone with the first one, so we'll bring him on in.
Hey, Aaron, just want to say good job with your presentation. I thought you did a really nice job, very thorough in your presentation. I like the name and the logo. I thought you did a good job with that. I guess my question is about your camp. I mean, obviously with summer camps, you're competing against a lot of other camps that are out there in the summer. So what are you going to do to communicate and really encourage kids to sign up for your camp versus another camp? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so I mostly was targeting this towards kids who have an interest in that field. I mean, every kid when they're growing up wants to be an astronaut, wants to be the president. So really kind of allowing those things, advertising to schools directly, pamphlets in hallways, things like that. I mean, I know that we have several in the high school, we have several colleges who have kind of pamphlets or posters up in the hallways. So just targeting that a little bit lower in the grade level to allow them to really get excited. I mean, definitely advertising through libraries and through community centers is definitely a very good way. I mean, my mom works at the Hawthorne Public Library, and I have heard a lot about very interesting summer camps that I've gone to a couple of them that I learned about them through those community centers. So definitely pushing through those avenues will allow us to reach our target audience.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Next, we have Ms. Denise here. See if we can get her in here. Here she is. All right, Ms. Denise, I think we finally got you in. I don't know what was going on, so I apologize. When I see your hand going up and then it goes away, so I wasn't sure if you were trying to ask a question or you clicked it by accident, but I'm glad we're able to get you on.
It's probably me. Sorry.
No worries.
Thank you. Aaron, you did a wonderful job. I loved the presentation.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
When I was at Jefferson School, when you were using the 5th grades as the focus group, all the kids were engaged and they were really, really excited about your camp. And I think I'm going to go to your camp.
I would love to have you.
Thank you, Aaron. I loved your logo. I thought it was very creative. And I loved everything about it. The name, the creativity part of it. You did a great job with everything, Aaron. It's very reasonable compared to the other camp.
Price-wise, yes, but granted, the other camp provides a very interesting experience, definitely the experience of a lifetime, being able to go to the moon. But this is sort of designed as supposed to be something intermediary in the timeframes of those two things, where space
Right.
travel at the present time is still extremely expensive. So I kind of wanted to make something in between now and then to allow it to inspire those generations of kids to really sort of look up a little bit more and look out there and say, what are we missing out on? So really have a camp designed for them in the meantime.
In the meantime, very good. Very creative, Aaron. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Next up, we have Ms. Wagner here.
Hi, Aaron. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
To see you. Great job. You are a natural presenter, I have to say. Very well spoken.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My question for you, and I think it probably piggybacks a little bit off of Mr. Spirito's question in terms of advertisement. Obviously, the STEM field is, not only up and coming, but, it's a field where there's a lot of demand. Would you ever think about expanding your program possibly to working more with schools during the school year? So you have a summer program, right? But infusing anything within your program into the school year to also try to advertise a little bit better for what you do have to offer during the summertime.
I would be very open to that. I would love to do definitely a lot of presentations and assemblies to kind of display what that is. I mean, I feel like I'm drawing a lot on it, but the OAR leadership camp that many of the juniors and seniors participated in, I went for the last 2 years, and it was really, we had several meetings in school and after school, and it really allowed for me to form a bond with the director of that program, where I was very excited to go on the challenging days to allow myself to push myself. So definitely marketing outside of just that summer camp kind of pamphlet thing, to allow for assemblies and allow for the kids to get excited so that they really hear about us. I think that will be an amazing avenue to push for them to hear about us.
Yeah, and all your pillars too. I mean, all of those qualities and attributes, really just lend to a successful, person going out into the real world. So I think that might be something great to think about. So thank you. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All righty. So next up, we have Mr. Cunningham. Here he is.
Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Very good, thanks. So my question kind of centers on maybe partnering with other corporations or other entities, meaning do you envision your company partnering with like a NASA or a SpaceX, given that they seem to kind of team up on things? Is that a direction you would want to go in?
Yeah, I think that that avenue would definitely open in due time. I think first of all, establishing ourselves would be our main primary focus in the beginning, but allowing for these students to really gain the experience that these corporations are really looking for, and gain those attributes that are so pivotal to having these natural born leaders. So after we fully establish ourselves and get a couple rounds of kids through and really focus on crafting those individuals, I would love to maybe open it up to higher up age groups to allow for them to go right from high school and college into internships at those places if they do have a desire to enter those fields.
Great answer. Also, I loved your presentation. I thought you did a great job with that. Again, with the logo, I thought it was really cool, and great job overall.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it.
All right, and we have Dr. Troponin now.
Hi, Aaron. It was a great job. I really, I have one question. I was really intrigued by your pillars and the kind of balance you had between the pillars and the experience. Can you just bring me through like your reasoning for linking so much of that to just a typical space experience?
I really tried to focus on creating an individual, not necessarily just for space travel, but to be a leader in our society. And whether that's a leader at some local grocery store, or whether that's a leader as the leader of a nation. So I really kind of wanted to focus on creating a leader, because that's what we're lacking in today's society, is a definite leader. So I wanted to basically, in my 3 pillars would be inspiration. I want to inspire them and really stop telling them no, start telling them, yes, you can do this. And then challenge them and really push them to discover new ways to approach very different solutions, and challenge them to work together as a team, because you can be an amazing leader, but if you can't communicate your goals and your vision to people, you can't lead effectively. And then you need to be able to adapt to trying circumstances. So you need to be able to lead these people that you have now formed a bond with. So I really tried to focus on the 3 major things that would create a leader, not necessarily just for space travel, but a leader for society and through the veil of space travel. And hopefully I would love to see our small species spread out into the cosmos and become a multi-planetary species to ensure the survival of us forever. But we need to have leaders in the now to ensure that we can reach that point eventually.
No, I think it's great and inspiring. That really like put a totally shift on it, and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All righty. I think, let me just check in to make sure. I think that is all of our questions from our sharks.
All right. I would like to thank you all again for listening to my presentation, and I'll see you guys later. Hopefully I can see you again during graduation or something like that, because I miss seeing all of you. Have a good night.
All right, Mr. Lonardo, I think we can move on to our next presenter.
Yeah, 1 second. Make sure.
No worries, take your time.
All right. First, I want to say also thank you to the 5th graders, the enthusiastic and very energetic and engaging 5th graders at Jefferson School, because they were really a key part of the initial concept for all these designers to put together. Joe Oliva and Lisa Ruber from the 5th grade as the teachers. We want to thank them specifically. I also want to say that The presenters here and the designers had printed materials, and they were planning to put together laser cut handouts to share with the sharks at the presentation in the media studio. Unfortunately, since we're not able to do that, we can't share them with you. But they were really some great ideas based on their own individual space experiences and their programs. So just wanted to kind of let you know about that. The next presenter is Jacob Rios. He's going to talk to you a little bit about meteor miners.
Hi, Sharks. This is Jacob Rios, and this is my plan for a space camp entitled Meteor Miners. So the concept of meteor miners is that through the usage of a summer training camp in a way, for 10 to 16-year-olds, they can participate in certain activities, all as well as learning about how they can handle future galactic missions that will help them study space, the minerals that inhabit it, and all extraterrestrial ideals or not. Here's the logo, a rough version of it. And here are just some of the activities that would have a anti-gravity like gimmick: dodgeball, volleyball, soccer, yoga, and skydiving. And if that's not your cup of tea, then we also have a anti-gravity chamber / simulation room. Here's just some more rough concept of it. So the Space Race Games is basically something that would be held at the end of each month. One group would be the US and the other would be the Russians, as a callback to, of course, the famous space race back in the day. Whoever wins is the superior, space explorer. Some examples of the tournaments are Red Rover, an actual Red Rover game piloted by a rover, a test dummy in which you send a dummy up into space in less than 10 minutes, gold mining, find the best and most minerals in the cave, and station yourself, prepare your base for another sandstorm, such as making yourself a small farming center or a research lab. Mining practice itself would take place at least once every day for an hour. The kids will be brought down to the man-made mines that would house many of the minerals and rocks that you would be able to either take home or experiment with later on, and would hopefully make the idea of exploring in space a lot less boring than usual. Now, pets was something that the kids actually suggested. They work like service dogs, where they basically would help you whether you have disabilities or not. They would journey alongside with you, and I'd like to see it more as them being test subjects to see if they fit good for space travel in the future. Some are biological, others are actually mechanical. So just here's a rough comparison. And here's chemical play. It's very safe. All of it's biological matter and materials that the kids can mess with each week. They will be given suits to play around with these chemicals in the lab. And if that isn't enough for safety, then at least 2 guardians will be watching them at all times. As for provisions, medical services are all around the facility every single day at all times. Snack and foods will be open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And of course, as previously mentioned, 2 counselors will look after the kids at all times, just so they won't get themselves into danger. Advertisement. Now this is a nice one. This one is probably the one I thought about the most, arguably one of which. A campsite tour that will take place a month prior to the launch. TV ads that will feature the mascots, mostly on kids and teen rated channels such as Nicktoons or Disney XD. The webpage will give you a online registration form and school visits with real life astronauts and researchers. And here's just a brochure that you'd be given before or after your registration, physically or digitally, you can decide. Now, and lastly, merchandising will come in certain forms such as figurines that you could make, plushies based off the mascots or pets, play sets, space uniforms, and or souvenir replicas that the kids can get for free if they had wanted to keep some of their minerals that they found from the cave. Here's just some more concept art. And all of it will be available in a gift shop in the camp. And that's pretty much the end to it. Thank you.
All righty. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so we have our first question from Mrs. Wagner.
Hello.
Hey, Jacob, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. Nice job. I have a question, and then I also have a compliment. Number one, my question is, I know you're a pretty talented artist. The graphics that are included here that you're also going to be using with advertising, are those your own drawings?
Yes, they are.
Nice job. Secondly, I just wanted to tell you, I thought two things that I thought were really great ideas. The tours, I think that's wonderful. Obviously, you know, us as counselors, we always tell you guys how important it is to go out and see colleges and universities. So I think offering a tour prior to, you know, joining or space launch, I think that's wonderful. And I also really like the idea of the merchandise. So I just want to let you know, I thought those were great ideas and nice job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Oh, hi, Mr. Cunningham. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Nice presentation, really creative. I just wanted to ask you a question regarding the service dogs. I think that's a fantastic idea. So can you tell us a little bit more about the reasoning behind that and where you came up with that idea?
Yeah, so the kids picked that out. That was arguably the idea that they seemed the most into. And it basically originally it started out as just like general pets, but I thought it was better if it was just dogs because, you know, service dogs. But I also thought of them as like kind of like usage in like therapy and such,
Okay.
like petting dogs and such. Like they'd be used to help with anxiety and such, to calm the kids down if they feel a little too overwhelmed or so.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Great job. I love the presentation, and keep up the good work. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, good job.
Alrighty. All right, next up we have Mr. Spirito. There we go.
Hi, Jacob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I have to tell you, I wasn't aware that you were such a talented artist. I would echo Ms. Wegert's sentiments about the artwork. So good job with that. I have two quick questions for you. One would be in terms of the tournament games that you talked about in your presentation. How did you come up with those games versus other activities? Was it something that the kids suggested as part of your research with the students?
Not really the students. It was more just something I kind of thought up on the fly. Like, it was just kind of like, you know, I thought about the space race and like And I thought, that would be a good idea for a tournament. And I thought, let's expand on that. And it started out kind of simple. It kind of started out as just like one game, but then it kind of turned into a tournament. And I thought that was a lot more interesting than just like, one thing, like
Right.
one activity.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. And just one other quick question. Other than the kids, people signing up for the camp, how do you think you'll evaluate the success of your camp after the first year? Is there certain things that you're looking for in terms of success, and then obviously making modifications as you move forward? But how would you evaluate the success, I guess, after the first year?
I guess just to see how many kids come in and how many of them, if the reviews are positive or so. How many responses we get, and to see if most of them are positive. I mean, of course, if there are any negatives, we are bound to change them. But I think if the majority does say it's positive, then I think we won't feel the need to change too much.
Okay.
We will change the things that are necessary, but if there isn't really that much negativity, I guess there won't be that much reason to do big changes,
Very good. Well, I thought you did a nice job. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, our next questions are from Dr. Trebona.
Hi, Jacob. Great
Hi.
job. Mine's more of a comment. I just really wanted to commend you to kind of piggyback off Ms. Wagner on the advertising and merchandising. I think that really made your presentation stand apart, and it put a different twist on it that kind of puts that lasting memory of things that could either come away with it and really put research or emphasize the research you did on how to market what you were doing. So I wanted to commend you on your advertising and merchandising piece.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And next we have Ms. Denise.
Hello, Jacob. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I have a couple of comments. Really, what an artist you are. I loved all your artistic pictures and everything. I have one question. How'd you come up with the mascots? What gave you those ideas? How'd you come up with it?
I kind of had the idea of the camp kind of being the theme kind of being a mix of space and Western. I kind of felt like I've seen that before somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I liked how you did the space race with the United States against the Russians. That was pretty good. That was really good. And just to say, you really did a really wonderful job, Jacob. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks is always much appreciated.
Aw.
All righty, I think that's all the questions from our Sharks. Great job, Jacob. And Mr. Lonardo, I think we can move to our next presenter.
Okay. First, I want to say how proud I am of all these designers. They've done a fantastic job. Continue to do a fantastic job when we're in the studio on any given project that we're working on. I also want to say, they're also offering their unique accent based on their individual artistic strengths and loves, as you all have noticed. Jacob with his animation and artistic flair for drawing, that really has used that within his development of his space program. Michael with his love and his strength of graphic design, and Aaron really focusing on research and development and exploration. I really commend them all. They've done a fantastic job. Really exciting to see the scores coming in live time and real time here. Remember, everybody, the Sharks are basing their scores on research, creativity, and presentation, with a total possible amount of points of 150. And again, it's very fun to see what's really happening in live time. Tamer, I don't think we have Dylan joining us. Did you notice that?
I'm actually just checking right now. I thought I saw, but maybe I didn't. I'm just making sure because I don't want to skip him if he is in here. It doesn't look like he is. Maybe he's still having some technical issues.
Okay, so apologize for that, Sharks, and everybody viewing. And Dylan, hopefully we'll be able to get ETI presented at another time from him. And we thank him for all the hard work he's done to prepare to this point. Kind of want to conclude right now and again say that we think everybody's a winner, of course. They really developed some really interesting and engaging programs. They really spent quality time putting this together, and in this unique environment that we're all in now with remote learning, really kind of have stepped up and really kind of brought really interesting stuff to the table. I want to thank the presenters, Michael, Aaron, and Jacob. I also want to thank the Sharks, Mr. Cunningham, Ms. Denise, Mr. Spirito, Dr. Carmona, and Ms. Wagner. Thank you for spending the time to listen and to view the really talented work that we had. Special thanks to Mr. Mankage, Tamer, for all he put together. Could absolutely not have done this without him. He was really a fantastic key part of making this all happen. So as the scores come in, we're going to give it another minute or so. As the scores come in, we're going to kind of let the Sharks do their final tabulation and then kind of let everyone know really where we're at. We also want to, again, thank you for all viewing this. And we understand this is a little different spin on Shark Tank as we've done in years past, but I think it worked out well having an individual program. Okay, I think all the tabulations are in. I'm going to say that once again, I'm so very proud of you all. You've really taken a brand and developed it and really kind of made it a true experience, taking the concept of the logo, the coloration, the mascot, and what really would happen if these programs were really true to life. I think you've all done a phenomenal job. I think that the in-person might have had a little different take on it, but I think we really worked it out pretty well with a virtual presentation. Just by a couple of points, just a couple, we are going to say that Aaron Fletcher sort of took the lead here in research, creativity, and presentation, just a few points higher, but it was really a tight race. And I want to thank you all. I just got an email from Dylan Scully that says, how do I get in? So maybe we'll be able to kind of throw him in here, at least to share his presentation with you all. Tamer, I'm going to kind of go to you and I'm going to forward Dylan the link once again, and maybe we can get that in there.
Hold on one second, Mr. Lonardo. I'm going to actually resend him his link.
Okay.
Because he needs to use the invite link.
Okay, thank you everybody for your support here and letting us get this accomplished.
1 second, and we will get him. Let's see if we can. All right, Mr. Lonardo, I just resent him that invite link. You should be able to use that to get on. I'm just confirming that we didn't send it to the wrong place, and it doesn't look like it.
Hi, sorry about that.
Oh, perfect. There he is. All right. Hello, Dylan. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thanks.
That we're able
Sorry,
to do one.
I completely, like, I don't know. I guess I didn't see the email before or something.
No worries at all. I'm glad that we're able to get you on.
Hi, Dylan. It's Mr. Lonardo. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
It was like perfect timing. Well, almost perfect timing, just about. So we want to get you to present. You want to share your screen with your Google slide presentation up and talk to the sharks. They're listening in, so you can share your experience and your brand program with them.
All right. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on. There seems to be some kind of like echo or something. This is really weird.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Perfect.
So my it's a simple logo. It's really just the name. I wanted to be pretty straightforward. It's ETI for extraterrestrial intelligence. What it is, it's an educational hands-on learning experience for kids to learn more about space and their neighboring friends. You will get the opportunity to learn anything and pretty much everything you want to know about space, and brainstorm with others on fun and wacky inventions for the benefits of humans in space. It's going to be for students like 8 to 12. There's 16 instructors in all, and there's a pair of 2 instructors per group, and I would plan to have like about 10 children per group, so that it doesn't get like too chaotic, and each student can have a pretty equal learning experience, so nobody's wasting money, because I plan to have it being like $2,000, maybe $500, so the instructors can have a nice pay, because apparently I plan to have them not be just some teenagers, but more like I guess like, no, I want them to be able to sing, so probably like professionals in this field. This is the, I guess, the face of the program, even though it's not the nicest face. His name is Glorby. Again, I wanted to go with a simple kind of design, just straightforward. He's an alien. The reason why he's an alien is because the 5th graders seemed to be more attracted to aliens as like the face of the company. I had 3 options: a robot, a astronaut, and an alien, and they all went with the alien. But I guess I kind of went with more of astronaut slash here. Some activities would be this 4D ride experience. I wanted to go with more realistic idea instead of maybe like Michael's, unlike Michael's going like to space. So it'd be a 4D experience with like I don't know, kind of inspired more like the rides at Universal Studios or something. And building robots for battles, maybe with other teams or groups. And they can collab with that. Also, I forgot to mention, I planned that like the groups would be kind of, the students would be grouped together in like closest to their ages, so that there's no like, the age difference doesn't, I don't know, bother them. Float and zero gravity. The idea is it wouldn't be really this. It's probably more like those I don't know, those, I forget what they're called, but like where they're kind of, the fan is under them, and then the instructor could like hold them over. And then back to the learning aspect, which is learning about things in space and how we can travel. It would get in more detail. They learn about asteroids, planets and other solar systems, and rogue planets, stars, black holes, and wormholes. These are kind of what I also asked the fifth graders what they kind of are most interested in space, and some of these were the main target for them. And yeah, that's my program.
Awesome. So we can open it up to questions from our sharks. And we have Miss Wagner here with her first question.
Hey, Dylan, I'm glad we were able to get you in.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you, just in terms of advertisement, you talked a lot about what they will be doing as part of the program, but how are you going to get those fifth graders to come, or, your middle school age students to come out and participate in this program?
I plan on doing advertising on Facebook, anything, and like Twitter, Instagram, and also, if possible, neighboring schools, maybe sending flyers over that way. Anywhere that there's like I can get in the faces of parents and get like students and younger kids to just get this paper and tell their parents to like take them to this place. I also understand that like there would be some there can only be so many in a group, so there would be like an automatic waiting line, but maybe even there could be flexibility within that so that parents are more willing to just work around it and get their kids to learn more about space.
And I think it's great too that you asked the students what they were interested in as well too. What would they be interested in learning about? Because that's how you pull them in. That's how you hook them. So
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks.
You too.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other hands from any of our other sharks, so I'm not sure. Oh, Mr. Spirito, there you go. I see his hand just popped up. There you go.
Thank you. Dylan, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So thank you. I enjoyed your presentation. Dylan, I apologize if I missed it, but did you discuss cost of the program?
I was thinking, I'm pretty sure I did, but I was saying around like 2,500. Just, I understand, yeah, that's more on the pricey side, but I wanted to think of something more realistic with the 4D ride experience and like the paying for all the other things, and also the instructors. Like I said, I would like them to be more knowing what they're doing instead of them just being like teens. So definitely it's a little pricier, but I don't know. I felt that was the most doable range.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dylan. Listen, I just want to compliment you and all of the presenters today. I know this is not easy, especially doing this virtually, but I always enjoy participating in this Shark Tank event. So I want to congratulate all four of you guys. And I want to also thank Mr. Lonardo for everything that he does with our students. He does such a great job in that media arts class. And just want to thank him and of course, Tamer, for assisting to put this program together today. So great job, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I do also want to say, Dylan, thank you. Appreciate you did a great job. Appreciate you getting in there. I'm so happy you got to present in today's program. We just made it in there.
Last minute.
The points are in. We're able to score Dylan and get him in there. And boy, he really challenged the other presenters. It was pretty close once again. But we're going to go back to Aaron, and we're going to say by a few. We got Aaron leading the program here between research, creativity, and presentation. And I thank you all once again for joining us. Thank you to the presenters. Big thanks to Tamer. And thanks for the viewers for watching.